Hi everyone, welcome back. Today's going to be a little bit of a fun video in terms of looking at which US city has the warmest year-round overall annual temperature. And I'm looking at specifically the top 50 US metros that all had about 1.1 million or above on the 2020 US Census from the Census Bureau. I left off territories like Guam, like Puerto Rico, and also Honolulu was not included because of their smaller size, but I do show them a little bit at the end. So that's why we're looking at the top 50 metros to get really distinct and different areas of the country and not just cities that just so happen to be next to each other that are both huge. So going into it, I thought Phoenix and Miami would be the top two cities, and that turned out to be true. As you'll start to see as we work through this exercise, Phoenix is always in yellow and Miami is always in green. So let's go ahead and get started. We're looking here at the average annual days over 100 degrees, and Phoenix takes the cake in the USA with 111 days on average that have a temperature over 100, which is just insane. It's basically 3 straight months plus of June, July, August plus of over 100 degrees. By far the hottest city in the United States is by far Phoenix, Arizona. Notable exclusion from this list is Miami. It rarely, if ever, gets to be 100 degrees in Miami. And that really throws people for a loop because oftentimes they think that it's the straight up temperature in Miami is always so high. And as you'll see here, that's not true. There's other things in play. On the right is average annual days over 90 degrees. So we're bumping it down from 100 to 90. Phoenix is still right there at 173. And you see Miami pop in here at 91 days. So an average summer high temperature for Miami is about 90, 91. So that's what you're seeing there. And then now we're looking at over 80. And now you see them flip-flop between Miami actually jumping over Phoenix, 294 days over 80 degrees in Miami at 234 in Phoenix. So a difference there of 2 months. And this is over 70. Miami is coming in at 355 and Phoenix at 311. So this is still a difference of 44 days, a month and a half, the difference between 70-degree days. This is a good one here. Average annual days where the temperature does not drop below 50. So where the mercury does not drop below 50, Miami has almost the entire year at 357 days. And Phoenix is well behind at 277, a difference of 80 days, and that is significant. I jumped too far ahead there. So average annual days where 40 degrees or below are seen. On average, Miami has 1, but I can tell you, I think that they've gone now 11 straight years at Miami International Airport where they have not seen 40 or below, I believe is what they're going on right now, which I think is a record for them. And Phoenix on average has about 14 days where they do see 40 or below. Freezing. Phoenix typically has about 1 day per year on average. Miami, of course, does not have any. And with Phoenix, when I looked into the data a little bit on that, it was really strange in that there'd be a year where they had 4 freezing temps. The next year they'd have 0, 0, 0, 1, 4, 0, 0, 2, 0, 0. So you add all that up and divide by the number of years and it comes out to 1. But that really just tells me that there's cold snaps that last for a couple of days. I didn't dig into too much into these specific days, but I imagine that those are all pretty much in line with one another and that they just have cold snaps that hit there and most years they don't hit. So this is just straight up highest and lowest temp ever for these locations. The highest is the highest recorded temp ever in Miami is 100, which is kind of funny. Oftentimes people just think the temp there is so high when that's not really true. And in Phoenix, the highest recorded temp ever is 122, which is kind of insane for how big it is and how many people live there, considering the hottest temperature ever recorded in the history of the entire Earth is, I think, 134, 135, something like that, over in Death Valley. So they're 12 degrees away from the highest temperature ever recorded on the face of the planet. And they have several million people living there in a very dry environment. So that's just kind of interesting to think that how that plays out. The lowest recorded it's ever gotten in Miami is 27. I'll talk about that here in a minute. And it's 16 in Phoenix, which is just crazy to think that it reached 16 degrees in Phoenix, Arizona. So this is July or August, the warmest month of the year. What the average high temperature is in Phoenix, it's 107. In Miami, it's 91. That's typically what you're getting in the summertime. And at nighttime, you're getting down to 85 in Phoenix and 78 in Miami. But take a look at this variance between 78 and 91, or 85 and 107. And that starts to paint a little bit of a picture that'll come up here later. This is looking at the coldest months, though. I think it's usually typically January. The average high in January in Miami is 76, and the average low in January in Miami is 61, only a difference of 15 degrees. And in Phoenix, the January high is 67, and the low is 46 degrees. So that's pretty significant, the change between these two. And I think ultimately that's what carries the day for Miami, as you'll see here in a minute, the fact that it just does not get cold there. Snow, Miami did see flurries on January 19th, 1977, and that was a serious cold Arctic outbreak that day. And in fact, here in Cincinnati, where I am, the Ohio River froze over, which is basically unheard of. And that's the only time in modern history that that's happened. And it was the coldest day ever recorded in Cincinnati. So that held true all the way down into South Florida, and they saw flurries. Obviously no accumulation, but it did flurry. And in Phoenix, excuse me, my record suggests that it snowed there 8 times for a total of 3.5 inches. So, half of an inch for each snow event, which is not a lot. Typically you're not ever really going to see snow there, but it does happen. And to some degree, it actually does accumulate, which is kind of interesting. So this is just straight up annual high temperature and annual low. Phoenix at 87 and 64, and Miami at 84 and 71. So you can see a 3-degree difference here, but a 7-degree difference here. So overall, that's +4 to Miami, which is why Miami is going to end up having the highest temperature. And here's where this all boils down to. The daily mean temperature, and the mean is a little bit different than the average. A mean is on the top of the hour. For every hour for 24 straight hours, they take the temperature reading, and whatever it is, they add all those up and divide by 24, and that's how you arrive at this statistic. It is a little bit different than just taking the high of the day, the low of the day, divided by 2. So what we find is that in terms of major cities, Miami does win this at 77 degrees, and Phoenix is right there. It's 76 degrees. Some other notables is Key West at 79, Honolulu at 78, and McAllen, Texas, in southeast Texas along the Mexico and Gulf of Mexico at 77. And then some others here with Tampa, Orlando, and Jax right there, bringing up the other 70-degree days. So, it's personal preference. The data suggests by 1 degree that Miami does have a warmer temperature, but I threw on some other attributes here on the backside of this that really speak to, it depends on what you like. The annual mean dew point. And again, I did a whole nother video on this that you should go and check out, why we should never look at relative percent humidity. We should always look at dew point, because it is a true scale. And the mean dew point in Miami is 65.8, and that's bordering right on the it's getting muggy at a 65 dew point. When they hit 70, that's when it starts to get really muggy and really oppressive. So that's their mean dew point for the year. For the year is at 65.8, and Phoenix is at 37.8, which it's just straight up dry in Phoenix. Now in Miami in the wintertime, it is dry. They still have obviously much higher dew points than Phoenix, but it is dry in the sense that it does not rain very often in Miami in the wintertime. It doesn't really rain at all in Phoenix throughout the course of the year. But both of those cities do see most of their rainfall in the summer. And in reality, a lot of times Miami in the summertime just does have cloudy days. And we'll take a look at average annual percent of sunshine here. Phoenix at 85%. That area that Phoenix is in, they basically call it the Sun Valley. I think Yuma, Arizona, wins the day in terms of the sunniest place in the United States. It's something like 90% sun over the course of the year. It's just a crazy amount of sun. In Miami has 70% annual sunshine. So, I like to say, I'll probably do a whole nother video on this, but I like to say Florida, they say the sunshine state, but, kind of maybe it ought to be the partly cloudy state, because you typically do not get clear, full blue skies in Florida ever, especially in the summertime. You get more clear in the wintertime, but Phoenix is basically clear all of the time. And there's basically no clouds there, but that's a play on the humidity as well, right? So it all goes together. This is average annual hours of sunlight. Phoenix is getting 3,800 hours of sunshine a year, and Miami is getting about 700 less at 3,100. And then the last thing is clear days. So Phoenix gets 211 clear days of sun a year. Miami only gets 74. And that is defined by, it has to be clear sun through for at least a third of the day in order for it to be a quote unquote clear day. And Miami just simply doesn't have that. There's pretty much just always clouds percolating. So there's temperature, and then there's, dew point and sun, and just a lot of those other factors. And it really depends on what you like, what you most care about. Is it just the straight up temp? Is it, you want to feel some humidity in the air? Is it you just want straight sun? So whatever, is most into your interest is where you'll probably, enjoy most of your time. But either way, it's pretty cool to see this data outlined like this. But far and away, Miami and Phoenix are going to be your top two cities for warm weather, for tropical weather, and for growing plants that help in a tropical environment. So thanks for watching. I was glad I was able to share this information with you, and stay tuned for more. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Goodbye.